In an alternate universe, I would be an interior designer. Throughout high school, and one of my favorite hobbies is to do interior design. So I was ecstatic when the client told me that he wanted to create his own interior design company here in the US and wanted me to partner with him to start it. So this is a story about how a restoration company created an interior design company in the US during COVID and received a national interest exception to be able to come here in the US with 0 employees and 0 clienteles. It's a crazy complicated story, and the client was an extraordinary ability artist prior to getting the L1. I'll talk about that in a bit. Let's go. Hi everyone, my name is Joseph. I'm the managing partner here at Zhang Associates, where we solve legal problems with creative solutions. So the story starts with first having helped the client get an L-1 extraordinary ability visa to come to the US to work on this major project. After working on the project for a couple years, he didn't want to do it anymore, and so he went back to his home country and then decided no, he wants to come to the US. His children is here, he wants to come here, he wants his own company. After coming to the US and working and seeing how it is here, he wants to finally start his own company. But he didn't know exactly what to do. He owned a pretty famous restoration company back in his home country, restoring museums and parks and different historic sites. But what is he going to do in the US? So in exploring the different options that he has, he's quite extraordinary himself, but he didn't know exactly what he wanted to do. In thinking about everything and his background, we realized the perfect opportunity is in interior design, but not an ordinary interior design consulting firm where he just buys some furniture and redo flooring and redo a kitchen. It's a little bit more specialized. So our team spent exactly 3 weeks coming up with the perfect interior design business model for his company. We have to match the US's need, the clientele that can afford his services, as well as what his unique expertise is. Because if he's gonna just come here and take down drywall and put up drywall, he has no competitive advantage. His unique ability is in that restoration idea. So we were able to lean into his historical knowledge about how homes and historic sites in his home country, this Asian country, was able to be orchestrated, and how people used to live, and how we were able to tap into that historical knowledge and bring it into this modern era. What am I talking about? I'm talking about creating comfortable multi-generation family homes. We're not talking about how to make your kitchen even bigger, even nicer with a bigger backsplash. We're talking about how we can make a normal 3-bed, 3-bath house or condo into a comfortable living arrangement so that the grandparents and so your uncles and so your nephews can all live together coherently. Instead of having one giant kitchen and one giant living room, make it into multiple smaller living quarters so that when people live together, they have enough privacy so that they don't have to share the same space. Multiple places to put your fridge, multiple smaller places to be able to cook so that everybody can have their own space yet live within the same footprint. He has that expertise, he has that knowledge, he has the technology and the ability to bring that into the US. People in the US just don't have that. People in the US, when we're talking about interior design, they're just competing with each other about what rug color to pick out. Okay, technically I have family and friends who are interior designers, so they do a lot more than picking out rugs, but generally the idea of transitioning your living quarter into a multi-generational is actually quite hard to find. So we incorporated his business, executed his business model, created the website, did everything for him, and then the pandemic hit. But he really wanted to come to the US and be with his daughter because his family is all in the US. He was stuck alone in his home country. And that's just so sad. But how do we apply for the national interest exception? Only businesses that with extraordinary needs that are tied to the US can get this visa because the consulates are completely shut down. They're not seeing just anyone. They're only seeing people who meet these requirements. He was a startup. He had 0 employees. He had no customers. How is he going to expedite his interview process? Everybody else has to wait years before they can qualify for this visa and come to the US. We got him the national interest exception. How? Well, we argued during the pandemic, everybody was stuck at home and everybody was miserable. And so by him coming to the US, he's able to create this space, and it's needed now more than ever. And so because of this, the consulate accepted our argument, approved the national interest exception, issued the visa. He was able to come and immediately reunite with his family and then kick off his business, and now he's in the process of getting a green card. So this is our L1 case. It was a previously O1, we converted it to an L1. It was a startup, we created the business plan. He needed a national interest exception, so we help him get that. You see how versatile L1s really are? You can do so many things with it. And the whole idea is, what are you gonna do in the US? How are you an executive? A lot of times when people are talking about L1A, they're talking about what job description do you have? How many employees? What's your revenue? But if you can really focus on the core of it, what does your business do? How does it solve a particular need? How do you plan on doing it and getting it done? And why is it important to the US? When you could tap into that, it opens up so many doors. L1A is a mini version of an EB1C. EB1C is in the same category as EB1A. What is an EB1A? You are an extraordinary individual that solves a critical need in the United States. If you're an EB1C, you are an executive manager running a business that's what? Solving a critical need to the United States, right? So even though it's not explicit in the law, it's thought about it in that way. At least that's my personal opinion. So that's what I do here at the firm. When we do an L1A case, we really want to tap into the core of what this case is about and how does that benefit the US. A lot of times you'll be surprised, just like this NIE case. If you have any questions about L1A, business plan, would love to talk to you about it. Take care. Bye-bye.